The quantum array at Luna Base hummed with an otherworldly resonance as Admiral James Harrison studied the holographic display before him. The signal they detected 3 days ago continued to pulse with mathematical precision, originating from somewhere beyond the Kuiper Belt. After 30 years of scanning the cosmos for signs of intelligent life, humanity had finally received its answer. "Admiral, the decryption is complete," announced Dr. Isabella Martinez, her dark eyes reflecting the blue glow of multiple screens surrounding her workstation. As the lead sinolinguist for the Terran Defense Force, she had spent countless hours analyzing the signal's complex patterns. Harrison moved closer, his weathered face tightening with concern. "What have you found, Doctor?" "It's not just a message, sir," Isabella replied, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "It's a warning. The Arcturus Collective is coming. A species that has systematically eliminated civilizations across 3 galactic sectors." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had barely established colonies on Mars and Europa, and now they faced an existential threat from an advanced alien civilization. Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel burst into the command center, his usual composed demeanor shattered. "Admiral, long-range sensors have detected multiple objects entering the solar system. They're moving at relativistic speeds." Harrison's jaw clenched. "How long?" "At their current velocity, they'll reach Earth in 72 hours. The Admiral activated the facility's general communications channel. "This is not a drill. Implement Protocol Omega immediately. All personnel to battle stations." As klaxons blared throughout the base, Isabella noticed something odd in the signal's underlying structure. "Admiral, there's more." The warning, it mentioned something called the Phantom of Terra. Harrison turned sharply. "Explain." "According to this, during humanity's early attempts at faster-than-light travel, we lost a ship, the TDF Hyperion. But the message suggests it didn't disappear. It evolved." The Admiral's eyes widened with recognition. The Hyperion incident was classified at the highest levels, a dark chapter in human space exploration. In 2157, the experimental vessel vanished during its maiden voyage, along with its crew of 300. The official record listed it as destroyed, but rumors persisted of strange sightings across the decades. "Sir," Raj interrupted, his voice tight with urgency. "You need to see this." The main display showed a massive energy surge at the edge of the solar system. Something was materializing. A ship of impossible proportions, its hull seeming to bend reality around it. "The Hyperion," Harrison whispered. "After all these years." Isabella's instruments went wild. "Admiral, I'm detecting quantum signatures identical to those in the warning signal. The ship, it's trying to communicate." The message that appeared on their screens was brief but clear. "We have returned. The cycle must end." As they watched, more ships emerged from the void. The Arcturus fleet, their vessels sleek and predatory. But they seemed to hesitate at the sight of the Hyperion. A ghost from humanity's past returned to haunt not them, but their would-be destroyers. Harrison straightened his uniform. "Dr. Martinez, send a response to the Hyperion. Tell them Earth stands ready." He turned to address the command center. "What we do in the next 72 hours will determine the fate of our species. The Arcturus Collective thinks they're hunting us, but they're about to learn why you should never corner a human." Across Luna Base, preparations for battle intensified. The quantum arrays recalibrated, defense platforms powered up, and emergency protocols activated planet-wide. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they knew the answer, and it had come with both a threat and an unexpected ally. As Harrison watched the Hyperion's impossible form on the main display, he couldn't help but wonder what other secrets humanity's first attempts at interstellar travel had unleashed. Whatever the Hyperion had become during its decades in the void, it had returned at humanity's darkest hour. The real question was, would it be enough to save them from what was coming? The observation deck of Luna Base offered an unobstructed view of Earth, its blue-white surface peaceful despite the approaching storm. Dr. Isabella Martinez stood beside Captain Nikolai Volkov, the military liaison to her research team, as they watched the Hyperion's massive form eclipse the stars. "The quantum readings are unlike anything we've ever seen," Isabella said, reviewing the latest data on her tablet. "It's as if the ship exists in multiple states simultaneously." Nikolai nodded, his scared face reflecting the ethereal light from the vessel. The original Hyperion project was designed to bend space-time. Something went wrong during that first jump, or perhaps something went exactly right, just not in any way we expected. The ship's surface rippled like liquid metal, defying conventional physics. In the 48 hours since its arrival, the vessel had positioned itself between Earth and the approaching Arcturus fleet, a dark guardian emerging from legend. "Admiral Harrison wants us in the quantum lab," Isabella said, breaking the silence. "The Hyperion's crew. What's left of them. They've shared something with us. A weapon." The quantum lab buzzed with activity as scientists and military personnel worked to understand the Hyperion's gift. At its center stood a device that seemed to fold in on itself, its geometry challenging human perception. "The Arcturus Collective believes they're invincible because they've mastered traditional spacetime," explained Commander Weizong, the quantum physics expert who had joined their team. But the Hyperion, it learned to exist outside of conventional reality. What we're seeing is technology that evolved beyond our understanding. Admiral Harrison entered the lab, his presence commanding immediate attention. 24 hours until the Arcturus fleet reaches engagement range. Tell me we have something." We gestured to the device. The Hyperion's crew calls it the quantum divergence engine. It doesn't just bend space-time, it shatters it. One moment becomes infinite moments. One reality splits into countless possibilities. "And we can weaponize this?" Harrison asked, studying the impossible object. Isabella stepped forward. The Hyperion didn't just survive its accident. It was transformed. Its crew experienced millions of years in what we perceived as decades. They've seen every possible future of humanity, including ones where we defeat the Arcturus Collective. "But there's a catch," Nikolai added grimly. "Using the engine could change us as fundamentally as it changed the Hyperion. We might win the war but lose our humanity in the process." Harrison's expression hardened. "The Arcturus Collective has destroyed 1,000 civilizations. They're not here to negotiate. If we don't use every advantage we have, humanity ends tomorrow." The Admiral turned to Isabella. "How quickly can we integrate this technology into our defense systems? The Hyperion's crew is helping, but we're talking about fundamental forces we barely understand. We might get one shot at this, if we're lucky." Alarms suddenly blared throughout the base. Lieutenant Commander Patel's voice crackled over the comm system. "Admiral, the Arcturus fleet has accelerated. New arrival time estimated at 6 hours. Harrison cursed. "They must have detected the quantum signatures. We've lost our element of surprise." He faced his team. "Whatever we're going to do with this technology, it needs to happen now." The next few hours passed in a blur of activity. The quantum divergence engine was connected to Luna Base's power grid, its impossible geometries beginning to affect the very fabric of space around the facility. The Hyperion maintained its position, a silent sentinel preparing for humanity's greatest battle. Isabella worked frantically with Wei and the otherworldly crew members from the Hyperion. Beings that seemed both human and not, their forms shifting subtly as if they existed in multiple states at once. They had seen humanity's extinction play out countless times across infinite realities. This was their attempt to prevent it in at least one. "The engine is at 60% integration," Wei announced, his hands dancing across holographic controls. "But the power requirements are off the charts. We're burning through our antimatter reserves just keeping it stable." Nikolai monitored the tactical displays as the Arcturus fleet approached, their ships arranged in an attack formation that had spelled doom for countless civilizations. "Their weapon systems are charging," Standard shields won't hold against that kind of firepower. Harrison made his decision. Divert all power to the quantum divergence engine. If we're going to change reality, let's make it count. As the order was given, Isabella felt reality begin to shift around them. The quantum readings went exponential, and for a moment, she saw not just one Earth in danger, but infinite Earths across infinite timelines, and in some of them, humanity not only survived but triumphed. The Arcturus fleet entered weapons range, their ships preparing to deliver their apocalyptic judgment. But this time, something was different. This time, humanity had learned to break the rules of reality itself. The quantum divergence engine pulsed, and space itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see which future would become their present reality, fractured like a mirror struck by lightning. The quantum divergence engine's activation sent ripples through spacetime, causing the Arcturus fleet to splinter into countless phantom images of itself. On Luna Base's main display, Isabella Martinez watched as past, present, and future collided in a spectacular display of temporal chaos. Multiple timeline convergence detected, Wei announced, his voice steady despite the unreality surrounding them. The engine is working exactly as the Hyperion's crew predicted. The massive alien fleet found itself caught in a web of quantum uncertainty. Their carefully coordinated attack dissolved into confusion as each ship experienced a different version of reality. Some fired at targets that existed only in alternate timelines, while others froze in temporal stasis. Admiral Harrison watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. Status of the Hyperion. The ship is evolving, Isabella responded, studying the readings. It's using the quantum disruption to manifest multiple versions of itself from different timelines. Each version learned different ways to fight the collective during its time in the void. The Hyperion's hull rippled and multiplied, each iteration carrying the weight of decades spent fighting this battle across countless realities. It moved with impossible grace, striking the Arcturus ships from angles that shouldn't exist in normal space. Lieutenant Commander Patel's voice crackled over the comm. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Arcturus command ship. They're requesting parley." The command center fell silent. In 1,000 years of expansion, the Arcturus collective had never negotiated. They simply appeared, destroyed, and moved on. This was unprecedented. "Put them through," Harrison ordered, straightening his uniform. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a being that defied easy description. The Arcturus commander's form seemed to shift between different evolutionary paths, a visual representation of their species' technological mastery. "You wield power you do not understand." The aliens' thoughts translated directly into their minds. The quantum realm was not meant for primitive beings. Harrison stepped forward. "We understand enough. We understand that you've destroyed countless civilizations. We understand that you thought humanity would be an easy target." The Hyperion was an anomaly. The Arcturus commander responded. "Its transformation was never supposed to happen. Your species should have remained ignorant of quantum mechanics for another 1,000 years." Isabella moved to Harrison's side. The Hyperion didn't just survive in the void. It witnessed every possible future of our conflict. It saw futures where we win, where we lose, where we become something entirely new. And it chose to come back to this specific moment. The alien's form flickered with what might have been concern. "You cannot comprehend the consequences of quantum manipulation at this scale. Reality itself." An alarm blared, cutting off the transmission. Wei's hands flew across his console. "The engine is reaching critical mass. The quantum fluctuations are cascading." Through the observation windows, they watched as space itself began to fold and unfold like origami made of starlight. The Hyperion pulsed with energy that defied measurement, its hull now a liquid mirror reflecting infinite possibilities. "They're right about one thing," Isabella said, reviewing the data streaming across her screen. "We're changing something fundamental about reality. The engine isn't just affecting local spacetime, it's rewriting the quantum foundation of our universe." Harrison faced his crew. Can we control it? No, came a new voice, echoing with temporal harmonics. A figure stepped through one of the quantum rifts, a woman wearing a Terran Defense Force uniform from 30 years ago. Her name had read Captain Rebecca Chen. The original Hyperion commander, Harrison breathed. Rebecca nodded, her form shifting between different versions of herself. We spent subjective millennia in the quantum void, learning its rules. The Arcturus Collective thinks they've mastered space-time, but they've only scratched the surface. We've seen the truth. Reality isn't fixed. It's a story we tell ourselves, and now humanity is ready to tell a new one. The quantum rifts expanded, showing glimpses of other timelines, worlds where humanity had already spread across the galaxy, realities where the Arcturus Collective had never existed, futures where Earth had evolved into something beyond current understanding. We're not here to win a war, Rebecca continued. We're here to evolve. The question is, are you ready to take that step? As if in response, the quantum divergence engine's pulse reached a crescendo, and reality itself held its breath, waiting for humanity's answer. The quantum rifts spreading from Luna Base had reached Earth's orbit, transforming the space around them into a kaleidoscope of possibilities. Admiral Harrison studied Captain Rebecca Chen, the living paradox who had commanded the Hyperion through countless temporal iterations. You're talking about evolving our entire species, he said, without consent, without warning. The Arcturus Collective is about to fire their primary weapons, Raj reported, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. Whatever we're going to do, it needs to happen now. Isabella's quantum readings were off the charts. The engine is creating a cascade effect. Every decision we make is splitting reality into new branches. We're approaching a quantum critical point, a moment where all possibilities collapse into a single defining choice. Wei's voice cut through the chaos. Multiple temporal incursions detected. Something's coming through the rifts. They weren't ships, exactly. Through the observation windows, they saw structures of pure energy, geometric patterns that hurt the eyes to look at. The Hyperion's hull resonated with them, singing in frequencies that existed outside normal spacetime. The others, Rebecca explained, her form flickering between states, humanity's descendants from the furthest branches of possibility. They'd been waiting for this moment across 1,000,000 timelines. The Arcturus fleet opened fire, their weapons designed to unmake matter at the quantum level. But the beams split and fractured, caught in the web of temporal distortion. Some shots hit their targets in one reality only to miss in 1,000 others. We don't need their consent, Rebecca continued, because in every timeline where humanity survives, this is the choice we make. I've lived through this moment more times than there are atoms in the universe. The only timelines where Earth survives are the ones where we embrace the quantum nature of reality itself. Admiral Harrison faced his crew. Isabella, what are we looking at if we proceed? Total quantum integration, she replied, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what she was describing. The engine isn't just changing our present, it's rewriting our past and future simultaneously. We'll become like the Hyperion, existing in multiple states at once. Humanity will transcend the linear flow of time itself. The Arcturus commander's voice boomed through their minds again, this time tinged with something that might have been fear. You don't understand what you're unleashing. The quantum barrier exists for a reason. Reality must maintain its coherence. Reality is what we make of it, Nikolai responded, watching as more quantum entities emerged from the rifts. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our determination. It's our ability to adapt, to become something new when the old ways no longer serve us. The quantum divergence engine's pulse reached a new frequency, and suddenly everyone on Luna Base could see them. Glimpses of other selves, paths not taken, futures yet to come. Isabella saw herself in 1,000 different timelines, each one facing this moment with different knowledge, but the same determination. The collective fears change, Rebecca said, her voice echoing across quantum frequencies. That's why they destroy civilizations before they can reach this point. but humanity. Change is what we do best. Admiral Harrison made his decision. Initiate Shadow Protocol. Full quantum integration. Let's show them what humanity can become. Wei's fingers flew across his console, initiating the sequence that would change humanity forever. The engine's power surged, and reality itself seemed to hold its breath. In that moment, as past and future collided, as humanity stood on the brink of evolutionary transcendence, the true nature of the Hyperion's mission finally became clear. It hadn't been lost in that first faster-than-light jump 30 years ago. It had been sent, by humanity itself, across countless timelines. To ensure that this moment would come to pass, the Shadow Protocol initiated, and reality shattered. Every human connected to Luna Base felt their consciousness expand across multiple timelines simultaneously. They became aware of every choice they'd ever made, every path not taken, every possibility that branched from this singular moment. The Arcturus fleet's weapons fire froze in mid-trajectory as time itself became malleable. The Hyperion's hull rippled with energy that defied physics, its form multiplying across dimensions as it enacted the culmination of its million-year mission. Quantum integration complete, Wei announced, his voice resonating across multiple frequencies. Each word he spoke created ripples in reality, echoing through past and future simultaneously. We're no longer bound by linear time. Isabella watched in awe as humanity's transformation spread across the earth below. The quantum wave expanded exponentially, touching every human consciousness, connecting them to the infinite web of possibility that the Hyperion's crew had discovered decades ago. "You've doomed yourselves," the Arcturus commander projected, their thoughts fragmenting across multiple realities. The quantum barrier exists to prevent exactly this. Reality cannot sustain. Reality is what we choose it to be, Admiral Harrison interrupted, his consciousness now spanning countless iterations of himself. And we choose to evolve. The others, humanity's quantum descendants, moved through the battle space like living mathematics, their very existence rewriting the rules of what was possible. The Hyperion pulsed in harmony with them, its hull now a liquid mirror reflecting infinite variations of itself. Rebecca Chen's form stabilized, becoming a bridge between what humanity was and what it would become. The Arcturus collective destroyed civilizations because they feared this moment. They knew that eventually, a species would arise that could break free from the limitations of linear existence. The quantum rifts expanded, showing glimpses of humanity's new potential. Cities that existed in multiple states simultaneously, ships that navigated through probability rather than space, consciousness that spanned not just space and time but possibility itself. "They're retreating," Raj announced, his awareness tracking the Arcturus fleet across multiple timelines. Their ships were pulling back, their carefully constructed reality crumbling in the face of humanity's transformation. But victory wasn't what it seemed. As the quantum integration reached completion, everyone present understood the truth. There had never been a war, not really. The Hyperion, the Arcturus collective, the quantum rifts, all of it had been orchestrated across millions of years and countless timelines by humanity itself. We created this moment, Isabella realized, her consciousness expanding to encompass the full scope of the plan. Every version of humanity, across every timeline, working together to ensure our evolution. The Hyperion wasn't lost, it was sent. The Arcturus collective wasn't our enemy. They were the catalyst we needed. Admiral Harrison stood at the center of the command center, watching as reality rewrote itself around them. And now we become what we were always meant to be, Rebecca answered, her form shifting between past and future. Not just explorers of space, but architects of reality itself. The story of humanity doesn't end here. It transforms into something infinite. The quantum rifts stabilized, creating a new framework of existence where possibility itself was humanity's domain. The Hyperion's mission was complete, having guided its creators through the ultimate transformation. Earth glowed with quantum potential, each human now a nexus of infinite possibility. As the Arcturus fleet vanished back into normal space, leaving humanity to its transcendence, Admiral Harrison turned to his crew. Now both singular and infinite, existing across all possibilities simultaneously. "Send a message to Earth," he said, his words rippling across quantum frequencies. "Tell them, this isn't the end of humanity's story. It's the beginning of our next chapter." The message wasn't necessary. Every human on Earth already knew, their consciousness now part of the quantum web that spanned all of reality. The Ghost Ship of Terra had fulfilled its purpose, guiding humanity not just through space and time, but through the very fabric of existence itself. In the end, the greatest discovery wasn't the power to bend reality or transcend time. It was the revelation that humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to imagine something more, and then become it.